Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, we're back on the 65 Chevelle, and we need to get the Firewall painted gloss black along with the windshield wiper cowling area and the two inner fender wells. So before we can do that, we have to cover up everything we painted just the other day, which is the frame and the radiator support. We painted those with a semi-gloss black, and they really look good in that sheen. I really like the way it's coming out, and it'll be a nice contrast with the gloss on the Firewall and the inner fender wells, then all the polished aluminum that's going to be underneath the hood. So let's jump in here. I got to do a little bit of masking, and then we can start mixing up some paint. Okay, since we're painting gloss black and we have satin black or semi-gloss black on here, we don't need to protect this all that well. So I need to mask very carefully around the frame right there, right where I'm going to be spraying, and there'll be quite a bit of force going on. But everywhere else I can just basically drape something over the top of it to protect it from vapor landing on it. So let me get those masked up real quick. We'll find something to lay over the top of everything else, and we'll get this thing tacked off and ready to spray. Okay, I got the inner fender wells up on here on a rack. They've all been sanded. They just need to be blown off and tacked off. They're looking good. Got everything masked and covered that needs to be covered. So we got plastic on there, paper up by the frame rails there, so it would be spraying up in there pretty tight. And over here, after I got it primed and sanded, I noticed that the primer exposed a crack in this seam right here. So that's where these are both pieces are put together. So I just put some sealer in there, and that was a couple of days ago, so it's set up real nice so we can paint right over that. So all we have to do is blow this stuff off, tack it, blow it off again, and then mix up some paint and start spraying. I got to chase somebody out of the shop here. As soon as I start spraying, he'll run off, so he doesn't like paint. I don't have a respirator that fits him, so he has to go. Huh, Jake? Jacob? Yeah, you're not a painter, are you? Yeah. Okay, the paint we're using today is from Acme. It's called Finish 1. There's no reducer required. It's 4 parts to 1 part hardener. This is on the lower end. It's less expensive. Now, when I say less expensive, this was almost $90 for the quart and a hardener, the little half a pint of hardener here. So back in the day when I was a youngster, I used to be able to paint a whole car for $100 in materials, actually less than $100. And I'm talking everything. color, reducer, hardener, masking paper, masking tape, sandpaper, you name it, the whole deal of materials for $100. So things have changed quite a bit. So we're gonna mix this up. We're gonna mix up about half a quart and see where we land on material, and then we'll mix more as we need it. So let me get this mixed up real quick. Everything's tacked off, so I just gotta grab the respirator and the gun and start spraying. Okay, that's the first coat. It's looking really good. It's glossing out real nice, especially for Inner Fenderwell. Now I put it down pretty heavy, a full wet coat. Remember what I always tell you guys, your first coat really sets the stage for the rest of the paint job. So, and you're not painting over another wet coat, so you can put it on a little heavier, flow it out, because you don't want to chase it later trying to fill in orange peel and everything else. It'll just end in disaster. So get yourself a good wet float out coat on the first one. It's sitting over dry material and it'll suck up that reducer and the paint will flash off. Just let it flash off real good and put another coat on it later once it's ready to go. Now I ordered, the catalyst is a medium, and I'm pretty sure they put the catalyst and reducer all in that one little bottle. But it's looking really good. I got good coverage. I'm going to go around and make sure I didn't miss any gray spots. But all in all, it's starting to look pretty good. That firewall is looking nice. We're going to let this flash off real good and get a second coat on it. Okay, that's 2 good wet coats on there. Now this paint tends to flow out a little slow. In the old days we used to have some paints that you would spray them on and you think, oh my goodness, it's just going to be all orange peel. And then you just give it a couple of minutes and it would flow together and lay down beautifully. This paint is not too different from those. So you kind of have to know your paint, know what you're shooting. You know, if it's the first time you're shooting it, you should probably practice on a small spray out or something, or a small part that you need to paint so you can kind of get a feel for it. But this paint flows out pretty good if you leave it alone. I've got enough paint in the gun to put a 3rd coat on it, which I'm going to go ahead and do. It's already catalyzed. I just have to toss it if I didn't do it. So I'm going to start on the Firewall, and if I have enough, then I'll move over to the Inner Fenderwells. But the Inner Fenderwells look really good for the amount of prep we did on them. And the Firewall's looking great. It's a little wavy where we put that panel on, but like I said, I wasn't trying to make it perfectly flat. We were just trying to make it smooth. So I'm going to let this flash off probably 5 to 8 minutes. It's 86 degrees in the shop now, so it's going to set pretty quick. And then we're going to go right back at it and get the 3rd coat on. All right, let's get this last coat on, get it done. Okay guys, all done. Got it unmasked and cleaned up. Looking really good. Pretty happy with the way everything turned out. So you can get an angle on that. Not perfectly flat or anything, but I think it looks really good. And it's going to look really nice once the engine and everything's put back in. Okay guys, that pretty much finishes my project for the day. We got it all unmasked and no overspray got anywhere on the car, so I must have done a good job. The Firewall looks great, the Inner Fenderwells look really good, and the best part about this whole thing is now we can start putting the car back together, which is really making me happy because we stripped this thing down pretty far on the front end here. So thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and mash that bell icon so you get notifications every time I release a new video. We'll see you on the next one.